Welcome back to another episode of the Hunt Fish Live podcast. I'm fresh off a weekend trip down to Northwest Indiana. The action was kind of good, but kind of not. I ran into some moral dilemmas, but we'll save those for later. Let's get into it. So I took Friday off of work and headed down mid-morning, I guess you could call it, to Indiana, to the farm. And I ended up getting there around 11 Eastern time. So I stopped at Walmart, grabbed some food, knowing that I was going to be the only one down there for at least a day. And so I needed sustenance, so to speak. Got down, got unpacked, and made some lunch and headed out to the woods. I went to a stand that I hadn't hunted this year. It's in the third bend stand on the back of the farm on the big woods. The stand overlooks cut cornfield. We had a southwest wind on Friday. So my wind was blowing out into the cornfield, which was fine. Typically deer don't smell you in that area that well because of how, I mean, they kind of do smell you a little bit just because the wind swirls, but they have a hard time latching on to where the scent's coming from. I had my windicator powder in my hands, or in my pocket, so I was able to check the wind. And for most of the day day and the evening, my wind was actually blowing up and out into the field. So I knew my scent wasn't dropping down into, it wasn't dropping down in front of me. My closest shot there is 20 yards. It's about 20 yards to the edge of the field and out from there. So got settled in, got my camera rolling, got my bow ready, put my release on, and settled in for the long haul. I ended up getting out about 1 o'clock or so. Maybe a little bit before, but 1 o'clock sticks in my head. So I sitting there, and all of a sudden I caught movement out of my left eye, so looking to the north, and it was two deer running into the woods. It's kind of hard to explain. The wood line between the big woods and the field, it's not straight, it's jagged. There's a bunch of corners and bends, and they always run into this one 90-degree corner. It's an outside 90 degree, not inside 90 degrees, so it makes like a point. And the deer always run into there first before they go anywhere else when they come from the north side of the property. So these two deer run in there, and I saw them moving in. So I grabbed my bow, got my camera on them, and I was ready. Well, they ended up staying in there for some time. I grunted a little bit, and nothing worked. And I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden these deer get up, or whatever they're doing, and start running my way behind me in the woods. So my stand's facing out into the field, they're behind me in the woods. I heard them start running through, and I stood up, grabbed my bow, turned around, and it was a pretty nice buck chasing a doe, and he's all fired up and grunting. So he must have brought her, chased her into the woods and then locked her down, pinned her down for a few minutes. But they were in there for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes, not moving. Once they got up, headed behind me, it was a full-on sprint. They went behind me 50 yards. The doe doubled back. The buck that was chasing her, like, did a little power slide and went back towards her, and she cut back the other way, and off they went. I could hear them grunting through the woods, and they were running so far that they went so far that I just lost track of them. I could tell they ran out of hearing distance, and that was it. So I was like, all right, we might have a really good afternoon here. I saw a big buck, probably, I don't know, 400 yards away, cruising the wood line on the other side of the farm, or on like the other end of the farm, and it looked big, it had a big body. I could tell it had antlers, but I couldn't see them. It was just too far away, and I did not have my binoculars. But at that point, it didn't matter anyway, because it was so far away. There's zero chance it was coming my way, especially with it being by itself. It wasn't chasing, it wasn't doing anything. It was just checking scent and moving on. A little while later, heard some movement behind me to my right this time, and I looked, and it was 3 deer. I'm pretty sure it was a buck pushing around a couple does. They made their way towards the field edge in the woods, and so I was assuming that they were going to jump out, or not jump out, but like get out in the field and then walk the line back towards me, and I was going to get a shot. Well, I was absolutely wrong on that, and they ended up going the complete other direction, and that was all I saw of them. I did see another doe being chased by a buck in like the big part of the field, which was pretty fun to see, but up again, hundreds of yards away, and basically just black spots running through the field. So I didn't know what it was, didn't have a clue how big it was or what they really were, but yeah, it was a good night. I thought for sure that I was going to get to shoot one Friday, but such is life. Headed back in, made some dinner, watched some TV, called my family, and then I went to bed. Got up Saturday morning I took my time when I got up. I didn't like rush out. Showered, went to the bathroom, had a little bit to eat, and grabbed a few snacks and some water, and headed out to my tree stand. I hunted a stand that I've never hunted before. I was the only one hunting this weekend. I was the only one there for the most part, and I went to a stand, like I said, never hunted before, and got set up. It's where my buddy Corey shoots all of his deer out of. So I knew it was a good spot. I was anticipating it being a great spot, and it started out freaking awesome. It got light out, and I was watching the woods and just kind of looking around and paying attention to life, and all of a sudden I caught movement on my right eye, and I look over my right shoulder, and there's a giant walking out of the thicket, getting ready to walk through the woods. I was hoping he was going to come down the trail towards me and use this valley to walk out in the cornfield. Well, he didn't. He ended up going over the little ridge, and I'm assuming he stayed on the outside of that ridge and walked around the field. And there's a corner of the field where they like to post up and just watch everything. So I'm assuming that's what he was doing. I was on the north side of the farm. Wind was coming out of the southwest still, and so he just needed to watch where he was going pretty much. So he moved on, but he was huge. I don't know how big he really was, like number of points wise, but he was a big buck. I was pumped. I was like, all right, so this is gonna be it. Today is gonna be the day. I hunted until about 11:30. That was the only deer that I saw all morning, which was wild, especially being in this spot. It's a stand up on a hill where a bunch of trails come together. There's 2 bedding areas within like 80 yards of each other, and it's like right in between both of them. And the deer use the little valley to funnel out into the field all the time. So I was like, all right, we're gonna see bucks. we're definitely going to see does, and I'm going to shoot one today. Well, I hunted until 11:30, went back in, got some caffeine, grabbed something to eat, and made my way back out about 1 o'clock. I texted Corey right when I got up in my stand, and it was 1:06. So I was in for the long haul. Doesn't get dark till 6 o'clock p.m. So I was like, I got 5 hours. We're just gonna hang out and see what happens. So I'm sitting there. Hours go by. Phone battery's dying. Not seeing any deer, which was a shock. But also in the meantime, it was opening day of firearm season there, and the deer were kind of riled up from all the shooting and whatever in the morning. So I knew that time was on my side, and I had nothing but time. So I hung out, sat there, relaxed, paid attention. I was ultra focused, and probably about 4:30, 5 o'clock, a little buck comes out of the bedding area down to the left, where I thought all the deer were going to come out of. He walked out towards the field, and then he decided to turn and come up towards me, and stood there 18 yards in front of me for what seemed like 17 hours. He was a little 4-point, small antlers, spindly antlers, not a big body. But he stood there just checking things out, and I could have shot him like 18 times. I started having this debate with myself. Do I shoot this deer? Yes. Do I shoot this deer? No. And I played the yes-no game for like the whole time he was standing there, because he didn't care. Like, he's stupid. Like, he's just a year and a half old 4-point. They're not very smart. And he just stood there. We hung out together, basically. I took a picture of him on my camera, on my phone. Had like 10 minutes of video of him just standing there, looking around, eating. And so I decided not to shoot that buck, even though it was been the first buck that I've shot in quite some time. But still. So he was standing there, and all of a sudden a little fawn doe came out of the thick stuff where he came out of, and she was very unsure of what was going on and what to do. Well, in the meantime, I'm still debating on whether to shoot this thing or not, and all of a sudden an older doe, like a year and a half old, his same age, came from behind me to my little, like, back off my left shoulder, and I'm assuming was hot. She was like making these weird grunting sounds, not like a doe bleat, but like more of like a lady grunt, so to speak. And she ended up like running right past my tree, like could have touched my tree. Like, if I was at the bottom of the tree standing with my back against the tree, I could have reached out and touched her. So she like scooted through and stopped when she saw him, and he saw her and was like, I'm getting some of that. And so she like put her tail up a little bit, like she was ready, and took off running, and he went after her, and he made a little grunt, and I took off, and he had his nose to the ground, and he was like, see ya. So those are the deer that I saw. I had like an hour left of maybe 45 minutes left of hunting. Didn't see anything else. Anticipated more, but nothing else came out. So I headed down from the tree about 6 o'clock. It was getting decently dark, and I knew my time for the evening was up. So the next day, Sunday morning, my last morning, we don't usually hunt
in 2 miles,
afternoons.
take exit 118 for Michigan 120 toward Fremont.
We usually don't hunt afternoons and on Sundays, just because it's better just to get home and get settled in before the work week. And so I hunted a little bit this morning, didn't see anything, and then Corey was still down. He had to go pick up his deer that he shot last weekend from the processor, and so he came down to do that, and I helped him change some trail camera batteries and did a little scouting too between cameras. So All in all, pretty awesome weekend. Yeah, I could have asked for a better weekend as far as shooting one, but all in all, though, for real, it was a great weekend of hunting, and it was just super cool to be able to hang out with Corey last night for a little while. We ended up getting dinner, hanging out, and we watched a movie when we got back to the house, and just kind of relaxed and talked about he hunted up in Oceana County Saturday morning for their gun opener, and we just shared hunting stories, and it's one of my favorite things to do is talk hunting with Corey Shane. So
in a half mile, take exit 118 for Michigan 120 toward Fremont.
Let's see. Next hunting trip, I think I'm going back down next weekend for last weekend of gun season. It'll be my last trip down in November because Thanksgiving's in 2 weekends and it's late this year. So
take exit 118.
We will see. I'm hoping to go back down a few more times, 2 or 3 at least. So
in a quarter mile, use the right 2 lanes to turn right onto Michigan 120 North.
Yeah, we're going to try to make it happen. Have a just an archery tag so I can shoot a buck or a
At the
doe.
light, use
So
the
it
right
doesn't
2
really
lanes
matter
to turn right onto Michigan 120 North, then turn right onto East River.
What I shoot now, it just needs to happen. So I really do look forward to the next time I head down and have a chance at slaying an Indiana monster. Let's circle back to that small 4-point that I saw on Saturday during the day. I wasn't going to shoot it. I didn't want to shoot it at first. And I started thinking to myself, well, this might be the only deer you see. You've been hunting down here for a few years now, and you haven't killed anything. And so I immediately thought, I should probably shoot it and harvest that deer. Well, the other side of my brain said, don't do it. You are not, it's not good enough for you. You've killed bigger ones, and that's true. I haven't killed many bucks, but I've killed bigger than 4 points. So that's where my mind was. And I sat there for watching this deer for like 10 minutes, trying to talk myself. I sat there for 10 minutes talking myself in and out of shooting that deer. And he ran away, and I was relieved that he ran away, chasing that doe. And I was happy with my decision until I was talking to Corey about it, and he and the rest of the guys were like, "Why didn't you shoot that deer?" And I was like, "Because it didn't get me excited." And so, which was true, I wasn't excited at all. And then Corey and I were talking after about what he feels when he shoots a big one, because he's killed a few big ones in the past couple of years, and he's got a pretty impressive trophy wall going on. So he was like, you say that it didn't get you excited, but if you would have had a big old 10-point in front of you, you would have been way too excited to shoot, and you wouldn't have known how to handle your situation. He's like, if you would have shot that deer, even though you were calm before, you would have been all worked up afterwards. And to that I agreed. Harvesting a deer is a pretty spiritual thing. So I think, I'm not really sure. I think I regret not shooting that deer the other day, even though it was small. I do need the meat, and I haven't killed with my bow in quite some time. So everyone was rooting for me this past weekend, and I feel like I don't feel like I let them down, because I've had a pretty good season so far. I feel like I let myself down. I feel like I might not get another chance, but I'm not done hunting. So there will be time. He was a young deer, but I don't think that matters. My buddies don't care what I shoot. They don't care how big it is. They're all going to be ecstatic for me anyways. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do next time. I'll probably shoot a deer if it's small, just to get that monkey off my back. I knew it felt really good when I shot a doe a few years ago. 2021, I think, was the last deer that I killed, and it was just a doe, but it felt amazing. So I need to bring that back with my bow and a buck, or even a doe. I don't really care. I just need to get one under my belt, you know. Well, that's it for this episode. It is onward and upward. There's still a month and a half left of deer season, and I've got an itchy trigger finger. I put myself in quite a few different situations this season that have made me a much better deer hunter, and I'm forever grateful for that. And for you guys for listening. Thank you again for listening. Hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments how your deer season is going. Thanks again. Have a great day, and we'll catch you next time.